Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Random. Berto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly for being here with me today. We're going to have a great show for you as usual. But anyhow, how are things going? How are things going? Let's see, who do we have? Julie Van Astel, welcome aboard. Good afternoon, beautiful people, she says. And of course, we have El Senor Michael Rudnin, who says, watching from away, Facebook only, quick shares, slow commenting, except these copy and paste. P.S. Mail sent. Oh, thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. You know, yesterday we had a caption up on the screen solely for you, sir. So sad and infuriating that an 11-month-old COVID baby had to be airlifted 150 miles because there was no available beds in Houston. Wow, Julie, I didn't even know that, and I'm here in Houston. Abbott needs to be held accountable for his crimes. Absolutely so. Robert P. Davenport. Good day to you, sir. Good day to you, sir, Robert P., my brother. How are you doing today? Let's see who else. Let's see. Michael has a few things. Even though he's away, he has us already loaded with good stuff. Let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, let's see. Let's get started. First of all, let's talk about what the show is going to be about today. What is the show going to be about today? The show is titled today, "This is what systemic racism looks like." It wasn't going to be the show today. But Chris Hayes did something yesterday on his show. Chris Hayes is a hell of an ally. And I almost cried when I saw what those charts that Chris Hayes put on the screen. And we're going to play that today. I think it's going to be the third video. Fox News hosts, they had a little tussle on vaccines. We're going to play that. And I want you to see the interaction between Psaki and Doocy one more time. I think I'm going to do that every day. And I decided to start calling it the Psaki-Doocy Chronicles. Because remember I told you I don't like how the White House MSM operates and the way they ask questions and the gotchas that they're trying to do. We're going to go over those gotchas. I think Psaki normally handles them perfectly. Today, I think she missed a couple of steps that she should have digged them with. She didn't, but it's okay. You can't be on 100. None of us are ever on 100% of the times. We know that. Wanda Hilbridge Avila, ¿cómo estás? Joining for the first time. Welcome aboard, Wanda. Thank you for being here for the first time. Love you. Those charts upset me so much. Thank goodness for Chris Hayes and his staff. Yes, Robert, you're absolutely right. Tom C., here early for a change. Hope to stay for the whole show. Stay for the whole show, people. And please, if you're on there now, please share it on your feed. Share it on your Twitter, your Tumblr, your YouTube, your Facebook, your everything, because that is how we're going to get the message over. So I thank you guys so kindly for being here. And while you're here, don't forget to go ahead and click that join button, become a part of our PDR posse. Okay, starting with Michael Rudnin, make the people happy, erase student debt. Yes, I'll talk about that a little bit into reading what he has to say. Free public colleges and cancel public student loan debt. Release the weight of debt off of our young people's necks. From the article, Nancy Pelosi recently stated that President Joe Biden can't cancel student debt. This is incorrect. He can. All he needs to do is sign an executive order. The Debt Collective, a group I serve as organizing director for, even drafted an executive order for him to sign. Student debt drags down the entire communities across all income brackets, and cancellation would spur the economic recovery that our cities and towns desperately need, while also helping the narrow racial wealth gap. I wasn't going to talk about this, but student loans is a very important thing, Michael, and thank you for bringing that up, because I want to talk about it. I got into a discussion with a person that I respect dearly, a professor. And the professor said, Egberto, be careful with the student debt, because many of the people who have very high student debts or going into areas like medicine and lawyering and that sort of stuff, high income areas. And he said just lowering the debt for those folk makes it appear as if it's yet another giveaway for high income people. And the professor is actually right. And but my thing is, I want to and then he spoke about those people who decided not to go to college. Why should their tax dollars be there to offset this debt as well? Well, when we're cleaning up society, we always get some people that don't get as many benefits as others. And my contention is that let me give an example here. High taxpayers are not going to get child credits that other people are going to get, the monthly child credits that people are going to get from the taxpayer funds, right? So, in effect, as we are balancing our system, I think it is okay to have those disparities. Yes, the person who is going for a doctor and a lawyer really doesn't need the forgiveness of the loan debt, but why shouldn't he get it since he had to have taken the loan in the first place? So my thing is, let's go ahead and free the debt, free the loans. Now, I wanted to get that out of the way because many people immediately understand that it creates an issue between the poor who has no intention, some of the poor who has no intention of going to college, and those who are always predisposed to go to college. The idea, if we want every American who wants to do the work to go to college to be able to go to college. In other words, we shouldn't have your economic state be a hindrance for your further education, which later on will make you a more productive person in society or a higher waged person in society, given that our society pays more in that regard. So that is a theory behind what I'm saying. Now, with respect to whether can we afford it, we can simply erase student debt if we wanted to. It would be somewhat inflationary because immediately we will throw cash into the economy. But the inflation will likely be mitigated by the activity and the increase in wages created by throwing that much money back into the economy. Because remember what's happening now. All that debt that these people are saddled with, that they're paying with, they're now buying homes and they're now buying appliances and cars and shoes and going to more restaurants, which creates more jobs, etc., than just concentrating that on paying back a bill to a corporate entity who simply uses it as a form of capital to do something else. Generally, not that's something that's going to generate the economic activity that freeing those who own student debt will do. So, I mean, it's a mathematical equation. And that mathematical equation says absolutely, if people spend the money into the economy instead of spending it to defer debt or to resolve debt, we will get more economic activity. That's a statement of fact. Look, and because student debt disproportionately affect people of color, or I should say, student debt affects disproportionately lower socioeconomic people, and because of the sins of this country, the lower socioeconomic folk tend to be people of color, indigenous, black, Latinos, etc., etc., etc. So it will do more to help them, which is something that's justified, right? All right, continuing. From Michael Rudnan again. Newsom in recall fight says it's not acceptable for homeless to camp on streets. I really wish this goes somewhere. So far, Democrats have all the kind words and so few actions to back them up. I'm glad you said that. Democrats, instead of leaning into people, or I shouldn't say Democrats, I should say centrist Democrats, I should say moderate Democrats, instead of leaning into the problems that affect the country and assume that Americans are intelligent, they tend to say, oh, these people, these middle class folk here, they hate to go down the streets in downtown LA and see these people in cardboard boxes, smelly and all of that. They hate that. Yeah, they do. And those people living in those conditions hate it too. They are not all drug dealers. They are living in a city where the price of real estate makes absolutely no sense. It's what a capitalist society does to snuff out people and to maximize money for a few. First, you double up into an apartment, and eventually the apartment wants to make more money. Say, oh, you can't double up anymore, so you have to go get another apartment. Oh, look, the reality is, if Newsom really wanted to do something, what Newsom would to solve the homeless problem and specify how he's going to do it. Instead of saying, oh, we got to get these folks off the street. I know in the article he probably says a few nice things. But as Rudnin says, a lot of kind words and so few actions. Absolutely so. All right, catastrophically destroyed. Dixie Fire wipes out California, Gold Rush Town, and Greenville. I don't know how much worse global warming is going to get. I'm sorry to tell you, brothers, it's fires in the West, and it's hurricanes, flooding, and all of that in other parts of the United States. We are in for a disastrous several decades because of global warming. There's a dead zone in the Gulf of Mexico this summer that's bigger than Connecticut. This is caused by a combination of warm water, which holds less oxygen, ocean acidification, which is changing with species live, and algae bloom. Yeah, and the acidification of the ocean is really playing havoc on coral reefs throughout the entire ocean, and it's caused by, if I'm not mistaken, carbonic acid, right? When we get the carbon dioxide actually going into the water and having that change in pH value, I think that is what's occurring. I think it's carbonic acid that's doing all the damage. New poll finds 1/4 of Americans qualify as highly right-wing authoritarian. What do we do about these people? There's such a large segment of authoritarian right who won't do anything unless specifically told to, and they are ignoring public health measures they believe they don't have to follow without a mandate. You know, just like they are trained right now to be right-wing crazies, to put it bluntly, they can be untrained to be, they want to be told what to do. We can either have them do good things or have them do bad things. Right now, they're controlled by those who would have them do bad things. Governor Gretchen Whitmer drops cap on legal fees for Snyder. Others charged with Flint water crimes. Have any of those responsible for poisoning so many people been convicted for felony charges? Absolutamente no. We're being ruled by criminals. Yes, we are. All right, let's continue here with my peeps. I think I saluted Wanda Hillbridge, Avila. Thank you for being here. Robert Davenport, thank you for being here. Carl Cox, America is going down the toilet. No. America is not going down the toilet. And you know why America is not going down the toilet? Because Carl Cox is in this country. Because Eric Hayes is in this country. Because Robert P. Davenport is in this country. Wanda Hillbridge in this country. Tom C. is in this country. Daniel Ledo is in this country. It's not going down the toilet. Because we are going to make sure that ultimately the plutocrats that would have this country go down the toilet, that we get smart enough to work among each other, that we won't allow that to happen. And canceling student debt, Daniel Ledo, is not immoral. Let me tell you what's immoral. There's a part of student debt that I didn't quite explain that I want to explain to everybody. Once upon a time, remember, this is a capitalist country, right? You pay for the things that you want, right? Let's talk about whether it is immoral. Welcome aboard, Juliana Pacificana. Welcome aboard. Let's talk about this, about student debt, whether it's immoral to pay it off. There was a time in this country, I remember when I came to this country in 1979, the rate, it was $4 per semester hour for a student, in-state student, to go to the University of Texas. $4 per semester hour. For foreign students, myself was a foreign student then, I paid 10 times that amount, $40 per semester hour. Our tax base in Texas paid for our schooling. Also, the University of Texas has a huge fund known as a permanent university fund from all the oil that we have in the state that was used to help pay the tuition to keep this an intelligent state, to keep the people in the state intelligent. And the pact was as follows. Corporations pay taxes. The taxes are used partially as well to educate the citizenry, and that educated citizenry went to work for that corporation who needed the expertise of that educated citizenry. So that corporation, who is held by shareholders, they were in effect those taxes that they needed to make the profits that they got, they paid for it. But here is what we're saying now: corporations are now socialist. They like to talk about us being socialists. They are corporate socialists. Here's what they say: we will take all the profits. We will capitalize all the profits and socialize all the debts. We'll socialize everything else. So what does that mean? That means the following. We stop paying the taxes necessary to put people through school so that they can come and work for us with an educated mind. In other words, we need that educated mind. So we used to pay for that educated mind to come and work for us, and then we gave that educated mind a stipend as well. But the corporation says, no, we're socialists. The corporate America, they are socialists. This is what they said. If we can buy a politician, we no longer have to pay for the education of the people. So you have to go educate yourself so that you can make money for the shareholder. So he takes no risk. If you pay for your education and you fail, it's all on you. It's all on the state. If you pay for your education and you do well, you come and work for me, and I use your intellect to create products to enrich other people. People, understand the fraud that this system is. The problem is we don't learn it that way, right? We don't learn it that way. We learn like you go get a good education, you pay for it, you go get a good job, and then you pay off your debt that you used to get the education for that job that pays you well. Who took the risk? They claim that they want a corporation to be its own person. Citizens United, corporations are people. They say corporations are individuals. You know, a corporation have its own something like a social security number, that it's an independent entity. So they want to tell you, oh, we are independent person. We can donate money. You can't stop us from doing. We can't stop us from doing anything. But we don't want to take any risk for anything. So when it comes to developing drugs, we, the taxpayers, pay the universities to develop the starting points of drugs. And when it looks like that drug is going to make some money, then comes the corporation, and it goes to the school, and it goes to the professors, and it goes to the researchers, and then they create a new drug. That mRNA drug, do you think it was done by Moderna? Do you think it was done by Pfizer? No, the baseline was done by us. You did it, my brothers and sisters. You paid for that drug. You paid your taxes that went to universities who developed the mRNA technology for the virus that we're doing today, but they make all the profit. And you know, they say, oh, well, we're giving the vaccine away free. No, you're also paying for the vaccine. It costs $0.29 to make a dosage, and they're charging the government over 10 times that per dosage. And you pay. So people, we have to change the narrative. Thank you, Michael Rudnin, for starting me up on the student loan, because that expands us into a lot of different areas that many people don't immediately understand. And when we understand it, it empowers us. And why does it empower us? Because we no longer have to say, well, we can't afford it. Hell yes. We the people have been paying for the education of the corporations for a long time. We the people have been paying for the raw material for a long time for the corporation. We the people have been paying for the defense of the corporation when they go into foreign countries and create havoc. We the people. We the people are responsible. When they say, oh, but we pay more taxes than we the people. Yeah, you pay more taxes than we the people because you took it from us. It's so important to empower ourselves and understand how the system works. Then we won't accept answers to questions like, we can't afford that. We can afford it if we didn't have corporate socialism, but we had a social democracy for every human being in America, and for that, around the world. All right, let me continue with my peeps. Eric, you choose a 300K education with a 50K job. It's your choice. No, it's not. Because I tell you what, an education should not cost 300K. All of that is a part of the farce. How long does it take those high-income doctors, lawyers, and specialists to pay off their student loan? A long time. By the time I paid for my daughter's undergrad, and also I paid for another course that she took before she went into med school. And still, med school is going to cost her just under $500,000. You tell me, how does that make any sense? Juliana Pacifica, welcome to the PDR Posse. Thank you very much, Juliana Pacificana. Oh my God, my student debt is a nightmare. I'm not a young person either and have always struggled financially to balance family obligations and with my health condition. And that's what I am saying, Juliana. That is what I'm saying. I am saying you need to be empowered, Juliana, to understand that you should be all fighting, all of us together, to not ask these politicians to get rid of student debt, but demand that they get rid of student debt. We have the power to demand if we don't allow ideological differences to get in between us. Listening to Politics Done Right now, I'm looking at least 25% of the people on our chat right now that I know of, they're conservatives. And we have substantial differences. I will always work with my brothers and sisters there because I need them. We need to show the power of the people because these are folks that just don't, they don't realize that they are being screwed. They don't. Because the ideological differences is what everybody concentrates on. One of the things that I promised myself to do as I got myself educated, as I got myself more into how systems really work, was to ensure that nobody, no common man, no middle-class person, nobody was going to be my enemy. You can call me as you wish. You can do whatever you want. You won't be an enemy. You will always be an ally. And the reason why is the system depends on us being enemies so that they can continue the pilfer. Remember that, people. So that they can continue to pilfer, so that they can continue the robbery. We got to be at each other's throats. It ain't going to happen with me. Danielle says, I chose to smoke for 30 years. The government should cancel my medical debts. Actually, here's the deal, Danielle Ledo, on that. That's a very good, I'm glad you brought that up. That is something that we need to look at. Here's the deal. You don't want to be forced to wear a mask. You don't want to be forced to get injected. If you were to get sick and you needed a ventilator, I am not going to complain that in a Medicare for All system, you will be on the ventilator. An educated society will have most people in that society say, I know I shouldn't be smoking. An educated society most of the people in that society will know they shouldn't be eating a ton of bacon every day or getting their cholesterol up to 500 all the time. Okay? So we have to get there. So when it comes to you smoking, and by the way, I think if I recall correctly, Daniel Ledo, you do smoke. And the thing about it is, if you get some sort of stuff with your lungs, with Medicare for All, I am not going to complain that it takes care of you. And let me tell you why. Because you may be, your bad stuff may be smoking. Somebody other vice may be eating too much sugar. Somebody's other vice may be taking caffeine. Somebody else other vice may be chewing on opium leaves. We don't know what it is. So therefore, the composite, the totality of humanity and what we teach in that society determines who we are. All right, let's see. You do not have to go to college to be successful, and what you're saying to others who already paid theirs to do, we get refund. Actually, I'm glad you that's a very good point that you brought up there, Eric, because I paid off my student debt. And my thing is, look, for the better good of society, and since after doing my company, I had done fairly well, I would not have asked for anything back. But you know what? That is a good observation. Maybe there's some sort of a payment methodology for those who paid back their debt. I mean, paid back their student loan and called it a bill to society. Just like I think reparations ought to be a bill to society. Because there are a group of folks whose ancestors built this country and turned it into what it is. Yeah, all of that is true. Now, there are mathematical formulas we can all put together to do things over time and to prevent a shock in society to make sure it goes through generations. There are a lot of things we can do if we have the will to do it. We can become a fair country that doesn't break the country by doing it correctly. Lee Grant says, hey, y'all, just got out of FV jail. Jail for speaking the truth. Lee, why do you always go into jail, brother? Oh, my God. All right, let's see. Robert Reed says, Egberto, can I be honest? Of course you can. I saw your interview with the doctor lady yesterday, and I felt like you did not push back against her statements on race being a central idea to the founding of America. Look, first of all, Robert Reed, you can always be frank if you disagree with me. I love that. I love to have the conversation. When I do interviews, I err on the side of keeping the interview going and not stressing the person I'm interviewing out, guiding them to guiding the interview in such a manner that I can explore where they are. And there are times that I will fail. There are times that's why a lot of times when I interview some of the people, I tell you, hey, you may not like this, but I kind of feel how far and where to go. That's what I do. So that is, so I mean, I didn't push back very hard on her on the racing because I didn't want her to lock up. And I wanted to, you got the entire picture of who she is, and you know who we are. Robert Reed. And, I'll talk to her subsequently and we'll talk about those other issues and bring those things along where we can have that conversation. Kuala Pacifica. Hello. PDR Posse for the warm aloha welcome. We have great people in this PDR Posse. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, you pay for it with your millions to give. I'm not sure what you're saying there, my brother. Michael Rod, Egberto, that's something else that corporation will use it for would be to put yet more people into debt. Peonage following their education. Exactly. Bridge MCP, welcome aboard. Leader of the Bridge MCP, of the PR Posse. People do not understand this. I am more than willing to pay my student debt. Problem is, they changed the rules 3 times and went against the original contract. Geez, I paid some off twice already. It's called compounding interest. It's a terrible thing. Lower economy people are able to get grants versus middle class. Where does that fit? Again, there are so many factors in there that I won't go over the individual factors as far as who get loans, why people get loans, etc. Kuliana Pacific, or rather, Julie Van Dassel said, my daughter graduated from college with $68K in student debt. We paid over $100K and she had a presidential scholarship, $13K a year. Ridiculous. Exactly. I paid probably $70,000 out of pocket. Actually, if I count that I was paying for apartment out of pocket and all of that, way over $100,000. So, yeah, you're right. Rose Williams says, hi, everyone. Kuliana Pacificana says, more so a woman of color, it gravely affects us in a huge way. Rose Williams, do nothing Democrats. I hear you, girl. Lee Grant, if you had some strong centralized authoritarian government, you could implement all these progressive policies. No, we don't need that. What we need is educated people. And that is why we have Politics Done Right, and we have other shows that do this kind of thing. Our goal is to empower people. That's our goal. And empowering people is tantamount to allowing them to first understand how things really work. Because we are indoctrinated into a certain form. And that form that we are indoctrinated in is a disempowering form that we had received. Our goal is to express things in the way they really are. And in doing so democratically, we would create that state that is necessary to make things equitable. Can't have all those things that taxpayers can't pay for. Everything that you want for everyone choose to be. Again, that is your fundamental misunderstanding of economics. And instead of just saying what we can't do, Brother Hayes, please ask how mathematically is it done? And since you live here in town, anytime you would want to have we had coffee a few weeks ago. if you would like, and I would love to do this because if I convince you, it's like convincing 50 other conservatives. I can show you mathematically how everything that we're talking about is paid for and we can afford. It's simple math, actually. It's not difficult at all. Rose Williams, my brother was a counselor for many years, and he said he was terrified to see so many ordinary middle-class folks rendered homeless for medical bankruptcy and jobs going abroad. Let me tell you, experience, I had to have private insurance because I had my own company, and my wife had lupus, which means I had to get the highest deductible to afford the insurance. I had a $10,000 deductible and a high copay. I really never used the insurance. Everything came out of pocket. So I paid over $10,000 for deductible, and my premium was over $1,000 for 12. And this is a long time ago. So, I mean, I know what it's like, folks. I know what it's like. Yeah, they change interest rate all the time, Breach. Okay, let's see. Wanda Hillbridge. Wow, we got a lot of messages, and I need to play some videos, but I'm going to continue because this is y'all's show. Yeah, I'm going to continue. This is y'all's show. Let's see. Oh, we're at halfway already, and I'm just talking and answering you guys stuff. I'll play the videos a little later. But, folks, if you're on YouTube, please consider being a part of our PDR posse. Join us, please. We need it to continue telling the message. Please click that join button and become a part of our PDR posse. Please consider getting our mug designed by Bridge MCP. That young lady that you see here in our room, she designed the cup, and we now sell it at that link. You can just go to that link to get the cup. Likewise, you can find a way to support us simply by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. Find a way to support us. Either click that join button, give us a super chat, or go ahead and go to politicsdoneright.com/support and get our books. Our books are easy to get in one place, politicsdoneright.com/books. You can get it in audiobook, you can get it in ebook, or you can get it as a piece of as the hardware. So please consider becoming a part of our PDR posse. Okay, let me continue answering questions. You know, I prefer answering questions and doing a lot of the prepared stuff that I have because you guys are so damn smart. All right, let's see. I need to get back up in line. All right, I'm scrolling back up. I'm scrolling back up because I lost a whole lot of things when I put that message in. All right, we have here, we have mahalo, my brother. Good topic today. Thank you, my friend. But I have a good topic, but guess who had a better topic? You guys did, which is what we're doing right now. I'm going to try to answer these questions as fast as I go down with the topics that you guys are bringing up so I can get at least a couple of videos in. Let's see, we're at now. Eric Hayes replying to Eric. No, that's not to me. Why not forgive the first 50K of student loans? If not, at least allow graduates to negotiate and extend remainder of debt and current low interest. Look, I would take whatever. I'll take the 50K. It's better than nothing. But as I said, we can afford the whole enchilada. Eric Hayes says, control the schools and you control the student debt. Okay, that's partially true from what I read, so I'm not going to argue with you on that. Bridge MCP, in addition, student loan forgiveness is only on a certain amount. Low figures which add up do not count. And you know what's the other thing? It only covers debt given by the government, not private debt. I also think, though, we should write some bills that actually pay off private debt as well. But, you know, the banks don't want that. They like those high interest rates that they charge you. Okay, let's see. We got Eric Hayes is correct. The cost of tuition is criminal. That's what I was saying. Eric Hayes was partially right. Michael Rundin, mRNA was developed by DARPA, right? Yes. I mean, look. And, you know, that is the thing that Americans don't talk about. And let me tell you something else. If medicine gets too expensive, the government has a right to go back and take the patent that was given to them, which were developed, patents developed by them, by schools, which were given to these guys. We can do it. We just don't because we're corporate owned and we have a lot of corporate socialism. It's that simple. I'll have to check when I get in front of the computer again. Actually, you're right. It's I don't know if specifically DARPA, but it's by the government. Actually, I think it's NIH, but you may want to look it up further. Let's see. Agreed with Restream Bot. Okay, let's see. Rose Williams Bridge coming down. Our tax dollars are paying for the vax. Right. Thank you very much. Yes, Julie Van Asdel, it is criminal. Eric Hayes says, BS, the schools are the freaking problem and they should be controlled. there are many problems around here. Okay, Daniel Lado said college tuition exploded because the government took over college loans, flooded the system with money, and the colleges responded by raising tuition. You know, that is the argument that is made by conservatives all the time. And there's one problem that they forget. And here's the deal. Here's what they forget. You believe in this mythical market that if you just go ahead and throw a lot of money into something, that prices go up. That should work if you have an oversupply of, let's say, undersupply of bread, or you have an undersupply of cars or whatever, like so what's happening now, since there are a lot of people bidding for the cars. But what you're saying, that statement that you're saying, even though you don't see it immediately, Daniel Lado, is sort of a statement, an elitist statement. It is saying, the government said the following: we want to make loans, we want to make college available to everybody, irrespective of their socioeconomic condition. And because we want to make college available to everybody, that's what we do. Now you are going to imply now that saying, oh, the government threw all this money into the system. It didn't throw the money into the system for them to raise tuition. It threw the money into the system for more people to go to college. You may then say, okay, there's a larger demand for education, so the prices should go up. False. The prices should scale, because unlike there being a scarcity in cars, there are not scarcities in professors. That's why you have so many adjunct professors. There are a lot of professors out there dangling around. But it is the fraud of the politician tied into the fraud of the corporatists that causes these prices to go up. And that is what you have to understand, Daniel Lado. It's not that the government flooded the thing with market, because let's go as an example. The tuition should have stayed the same. Let's go ahead and even say index to inflation, but it should have stayed the same. Just hire more teachers, and you say, well, you got to build more buildings, but you build a building is a capital expense. It's like a mortgage. It's money or building. They are transferable, and building increase and appreciates in price. So don't be fooled by that ideological fallacy. It's an ideological fallacy. I have almost paid mine off. Yeah, I paid mine off a few years ago, actually several years ago. Let's see, John Cotter. Until recently, it cost more than $250K to get the qualifications to be a commercial pilot, and the entry-level jobs were $30K per year. It is slowly increasing now that there is a pilot shortage. Why is there a shortage? See above. See above. Okay. Again, yeah, exactly. I missed it first. Yeah, you give a pilot $30K. Why should he put $250K into that? So true. Fools should race never went to private schools to run up school debt. Fools should have never went to private schools. Well, you know, my daughter is at Howard, which is a private school, but it's a private school that tends to really nurture doctors. Okay, so I mean, I get you. Students have to choose between spending 6 to 8 years to get a degree at a public university or going to a private university and get in. My daughter got 2 majors and a minor in 4 years at a private university. Let's see what else we got. Egberto, clearly an enemy of the American way of life. No, I don't think so. I think as an American, I want to enhance all of our way of life, Daniel, including yours, brother. Is about otherism. Let's see what else we got here. I'm scrolling down. Wow, we got a lot of messages. If you teach at what's called a low-income school, they will absolve your student loans, but it has to be a school of their choice, whoever they are. Yeah, that's what they had told my daughter before she went to med school, and she taught at a low-income school here in Texas, up the road for a while. You know, students just loved her. They just loved her. Yesterday, 2-parent school. I'm going to leave that one alone. Let's continue. From Rose Williams, having worked in academia for 25 years, I can tell you that it's not because instructors are making so much money. The salaries of the administrators are over the top. Exactly. Egberto, Eric Hayes, Egberto is a freaking joke. I don't want my debts paid back to me as I worked hard and lived years to the penny. This pay it off. Again, I always tell people about not being able to open their minds to how things work. And that is how the plutocracy uses you. It makes you believe things are not the way they are. And then that is what you start to think. You start to more, well, I'll go on to another one. Daniel Ledo, behavior does not necessarily correlate to education. For example, I may be educated that cheeseburgers will increase my cholesterol, but I'll eat one every day for 40 years. And that's the point I make when I said, even though you are a smoker, Mr. Ledo, with Medicare for all, I will not complain that when you get emphysema or when you get lung cancer or when you get all those things, that you'll be taken care of just as well as someone who didn't smoke. Because we all have our vices as human beings. Kalia Pacifica says, well said, brother, about the interview points. We want to know what's in their heads, what and why they think what they think. Exactly. Bridge MCP, let's see. Michael Rudden, compound interest on student loans debt needs to be made illegal. Tell me about it. For the amount that I paid. Agreed. Empowering people and not misleading people with incorrect information. That is what we have to do. And that's what I do here. And to people like Eric Hayes, etc. Eric, you're here every day. Try when you come, try to come with an open mind. Try not to come to simply find a fault with a progressive. Try to see if there's something you can learn. Try to see if there's something you can reprogram your mind on. Because, again, like I said, I tell everybody what I'm going to repeat here. Fact check everything that I say if you have not yet developed a trust in this program. Fact check it. And if you find an error in what I say, I come on air, both here and on KPFT 90.1 FM. And I'll say, Eric Hayes found me to be wrong on this particular issue and correct it. And you know why? To err is human. If I were to make a mistake, I don't make a lot of mistakes on this show. But if I were to, I would immediately come out and tell you it's right because I want people informed correctly. That's my goal. What would an authoritarian left country that wants what we on the American left want to look like? Create a government of the people. Make sure no one falls into poverty and desperation. Make sure everyone has a living wage, healthcare, education, and cleaner environments. It's amazing. The things that the left want are the things that everybody wants, right? And what the right has taught them is how to believe that it cannot be afforded. And that is what we have to build up. All right, let's see. I only have 46 minutes. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I want to show you the part that, well, no, I'll do the racist part on. Let me just go through these messages because you've spent the time to write these messages down. The least I can do is read them. Nanette Bird-Smith says, a little late, but hi. Thank you for being here, Nanette Bird-Smith. Julie Van Asvel, it is okay. Egberto Willis, many of us have already watched the videos as you have posted them. Well, thank you for giving me that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I did post them, so yeah, that's great. All right, let's see what else we got. TW, it's ridiculous he had to get a sub-loan on sub-loan and Parent Plus loan. This is crooked university politics at its best all the time. Let's see what else we got here. Charles Cobb says, like I said, CC should be free. Big public schools, no. Farmer Guy said, I love the uneducated. Oh, you know what? You want me to play that guy for you? It is funny because that you've said that. Anytime I hear somebody say that, that's the video. Did I delete it? Madre mia, lo perdí. I finally deleted that video. I have that video where Donald Trump says he likes stupid people. And he said most of his people are. They're not, but that's what he says. Anyhow, let's see. Not everyone is college material, and you will water down the education, and guess what? There's a huge shortage of skilled workers. Again, like I said, there are many countries that implement it. What they do is they say, you take a test and you work and take a test to determine if you want to be in college. And if you want to be in college, it's paid for. But again, it's not a giveaway. And yes, not everybody wants to be in college. A lot of people want to be plumbers. They want to trade. I am all for that. And I'm for their trade schools being free again. Because we all pay for having a skilled society. And we'll get the money all back because that plumber who we put through college or that plumber who we put through trade school, when he's done and he's effectively working, guess what happens? He starts to pay taxes. So when people say, oh, you're just giving things away, no, we are investing. It's amazing how when we invest in capital, nobody complains, but we invest in human beings and it's a complaint, even though human beings make it over and over and over. You know, you buy a house, they say, well, if you can't do the house, we'll take the house, so it's no problem. Well, you invest in the person returns his work as taxes. It's not rocket science, Okay, continuing. Egberto from Michael Ryan. Egberto, there's an Adam ruins everything video about why student loans suck in the U.S. I'll find the link and show and drop it. Thank you for doing that, brother. Voter education project plus more classes will be virtual, so less demand on physical buildings. Good point. Good point, my brother. Good point. Let's see what else we got here. TW. I felt so bad for my nephew and he was discouraged. I told him that student loans has to be like electricity bill in your brain because you're paying it for the rest of your life. Is that sad or what? Is that sad or what? Daniel Edo, Howard, a racist private school. Wow. What can I say? I don't know how to answer that, man. My daughter's in that school. I don't know how to answer that. It's a damn good school. Anyhow, let's see. One other one here. Let's see. I am glad we are getting away from classroom. Hopefully, secondary education will follow. People say only kids too. Well, a lot of people like the interaction. Public education, K through 12. This is from Robert P. Davenport. 12 tuition. Public education K-12 proves tuition forgiveness works. We give public education K to 12. Why not K to 16? You're such a smart guy, Robert. Again, it is all how we are programmed. It is how we're programmed. Folks, if you're listening to the show and you're on YouTube, please don't forget to click that join button and become a part of our PDR posse. Or you can always go to politicsandright.com/support, politicsandright.com/support. We do need your support. If you support us right now, like Tom C. just upgraded his membership. Brother Tom, thank you so kindly. I got to put that up there, brother. Anytime we have new members or upgraded members, we want to make sure and salute you for becoming, for really helping us out because we couldn't do this without you. I'm going to continue reading in a minute as I get Tom's name on the screen. Just give me a second here. Let me get Tom's name on the screen because he has proven that he wants to help out the PDR posse. Let's get that up on the screen. Anyhow, folks, so I want all of us here, and this is very important. Please listen to this word. I want you to realize that we have been programmed since birth. Deprogramming is not easy. I know for a fact myself, getting myself deprogrammed into feeling deserving of all that we demand. Okay? He has upgraded to free books. Tom, send me the email, the particular email address that you want associated with your account so that you can read all our books for free online. Just send us an email with that and we'll make sure to send that, add a membership for you for that. Anyhow, folks, so it's very important. Very important. Very important. So, folks, click that join button. And if you get that membership that he's getting, you read all our books online for free. And that goes permanently. As long as you are one of our free books members on YouTube, by clicking that join button, all our books are right there on the website to be read for free. And as I write new books, the other book, I've started writing a couple other books already, so it'll be there. Okay, let's continue. Julie Van Osville. No, that's somebody else. Oh my God, BGMCP, my comments, I see it depends on where you went to school, the state you went to school in, and the degree and job you seek. People have to realize this. Then add the government charge rules like 15 years ago. Charles Cobb said, nope, not worth the money. Egberto Willis, your kid should have went to public black school. My kid went to the University of Texas at Austin, mostly white school. And then she decided to go to Howard because Howard had a hospital on campus that was taking care of the indigent And unlike what Brother Ledo believed, of all races, just the indigent, and that was always her calling. She wanted to help out a whole lot of folk, and that's why she went there. And again, I get you though, Charles. What you're saying make a lot of financial sense. Sometimes we don't make the best financial choices, myself included. Carl Cox, I'm 68 years old in college, exercising the brain. Hey, Carl, you go, brother. You keep it up. Eric Hayes, debt is debt and cash is cash, which is more liquid and gives you freedom in the end as things are paid for. Again, it shows a complete misunderstanding of money and the economy, Eric. We need to sit down and talk the next time we have coffee about the economic system. We'll do that. Breach says, I work with in school, had 3 jobs, school, FT, and it's a basic degree. Please see, there is a large picture out there. Many are not understanding. There is. Let me tell you, when I went to school, in the summer, I sold fireworks, I worked at a cotton mill, and I washed dishes and sweep the floors at a college, all at the same time. And then I took a couple of courses. It's amazing. Egberto, reactionary conservatives don't have their own policy positions. They only go against whatever their opposition says. And you see that a lot, don't you? Charles Cobb, you're right, Egberto Willis, but you're missing the big problem. Probably I am, but let me know. Let's see. Daniel Ledo says, sorry, Egberto, the nice guy act isn't working like it did 5 years ago. It is clear he's a cog in the well-oiled machine that has taken control of nearly all the levers of power and a furiously attempting to destroy everything so as to create glorious Marxist utopia from the ashes. So yes, Egberto, you are my enemy. Wow. Well, you may consider me your enemy. I don't consider you the enemy. But based on the statements you just made, I do know from whence you're getting your information. And I also understand, believe it or not, why you think the way you do. It's a well-calculated psychological game. And all I can tell you, brother, is keep watching the show. One of these days, something or somebody in our room somewhere is going to tell you something that's going to bring you out of that. Somebody here is going to do the job. Gosh, this is such a good discussion. Yeah, we have great people here. Like I said, I had a lot of videos to show. I'll just show it on Monday because we only have 5 minutes left. And you guys just kept the thing going. Let's see what else we got here. There are socialist democracies that are run by authoritarians. Look at those Scandinavian countries that are not run by authoritarians. Exactly. I'm not a fan of them, but they're socialist-like. Look, I'm going to tell you something. Democracy requires education. You have to be educated to have a good democracy. You have to be educated to have a good democracy. And that's why authoritarianism works in dumb... shoot, Egberto, how dare you say that? That's not what I meant. It's not the opposite. In countries where people have less education. Authoritarianism don't only work, believe it or not, sometimes it's a necessity. Let me explain why. Let's say you're a country that makes seeds. This is a silly example, but I'm going to show you what I mean. Let's say you're an education that makes seeds, plant seeds, right? And you have a population that's hungry. But you have to keep 5% of the seeds always to plant for the next time. An uneducated society may say, we have a whole 5%, that's several bushels of food left. Let's eat that food because we're hungry. You're hungry. You're not at a hunger that's going to kill you, but you still need to have sustenance for the next year. An educated society would understand that. An uneducated society will riot to get something that they don't understand will ultimately kill them in the long run. That is how I saw the insurrection. And that's why I don't hate those who are the insurrectors. Because they are feeling, they have that feeling that that something is out to get them. They were made to believe in their uneducated phase. Listen to every single one of their interviews. These people are scared to death. They think, people say, oh, they're just racist. No, they're not just racist. Not all of them are. A lot of them are, but not all of them are. They are scared to death that something is being taken away from them. They're scared. That is the miseducation that the right wing has done. The continuous attack on education in this country has made us less smarter than we were when I came here back in 1979. When I came here back in 79, this was a damn smart country. But it was downhill then. Voter education, love how you're talking about how our investments pay back. Well, that is what you write about too, my brother. All right, let's see. That's Carl, by the way. Daniel Ledo, at least in view. Let's see. TW, and I'm not a socialist, but just stating a fact. John Cotter says investing in people is not something conservatives want. They want to invest in something that can turn into money. Hence why they like hard infrastructure and can't invest in soft infrastructure. That is exactly right. John Cotter, you hit the nail on the head. TW, again, I'm not a socialist. But it's the most terrible thing. It's not the most terrible thing either. I think many Americans don't know what it means. They're just taught it's bad. Exactly. They don't. But I'm going to repeat this. Capitalism. If you understand how it works, if you understand that it is people who are making money off of your labor not paid to you, you cannot help but define it as a indirect, antiseptic, an abstracted form of slavery because they're taking something they didn't earn on their own. It is so important for people to understand that. Now, if you modify capitalism that it reinvests its excesses into the system, you can make it moderately benevolent. Only if that is done. John Carter, investment in people is not something... I read that one already. Tom C., you're welcome, Egberto. Great show. Thank you, Tom C. Socialism is not bad. There are just people that... Exactly. Let's see what else we have here. Wow, we had so many comments today. Love you guys, man. This show is good. Sometimes many. This time show is good. I hate when it ends. Let's see. Healthcare and education should just be free. Plain and simple. Love you for those words, TW. You socialist you. Even though you say you're not. Lee Grant, what about all the COVID coming over with illegal aliens? Why do they get a pass? You know what I would do with all those people coming over? Everyone who checked positive, we isolate them. Everybody who checks not negative gets a vaccine. And by taking that vaccine, they get to stay in the country. Because what happens is we'll be helping the world, the Central America, in a very small way. But we would be helping the world, especially what's going on out there right now. Breach MCP, Lee, why all Americans not taking it? Illegals aren't the problem. Thank you for answering the question, Breach. Irish, Italians, Germans were illegal immigrants. Thank you. Okay, this show is really good. Let's over pizza. Come on, bring me the pizza. Hey, by the way, you were supposed to be moving down here, Breach MCP. We had the room ready for you and everything, Breach. Kualana Pacificana. More power to your daughter. God bless her for wanting to help the sick and the downtrodden, so no need to apologize to anyone as to your daughter attending school. Charles Schwab, Egberto, the big problem is that a large number of white people do not want to share power and resources. We understand there's a large percentage of that, and you know, as we decouple what people think is race, because race is non-existent, we'll solve that problem. I'm not trying to be the solver of everything all at once. One step at a time, one step at a time. Man, I'm running out of time. We're over. Preach, Egberto, preach. Let's see, Egberto, I love your passion and standing up for civilization. Thank you, E2247. Thanks for visiting us today. I got to get out of here, folks. Excellent explanation on capitalism. Thank you so kindly. Show's over. Great show. Yes, the show is over. Great show is over, folks. You could be anywhere. You decided to be here with me. I thank you so kindly. I couldn't do this without you. But before I go, I'm going to ask you one time again. Please go to either support, go to politicsandright.com/support, and please find a way to support us. I can't do this without your support, and it is something I have got to do. It is something I've got to do. Daniel Ledo, I agree. But you have to understand where I'm coming from, Daniel. And also, thank you very much, Mark McAvey. Thank you very much. Also, please get our books, politicsdoneright.com/books, politicsdoneright.com/books. You can get them in a set of 3 at Amazon now that they're allowing you to do it that way. Please consider getting my books. It also helped me do what I'm doing here. And please consider shopping, getting t-shirts, whatever you can at our store. Again, remember, you get our program for free. You support us however you want. Share our stuff, buy our stuff, do all our stuff. I couldn't do it without you. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number 1, subscribe to our channel, and number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.